designs that I like and where I'm at now. Process I need a lot of my illustrations won't be I don't like working in watercolor. Primo for me. Hi everyone, my name is Anna and I am the creator of Pink Sucre Illustrations, where I post videos kind of showing my writing process. I am just in the process of writing a book that I feel really passionate about. So for this first video, I do want to log a little bit of where I'm at as far as like writing my outline for my story, and then showing you just fun things that I'm using as inspiration along the way. Let me show you where I'm at as far as my story and my outline. Well, I've actually written more than this of how much of my story I have already written. I'm not gonna have to rewrite everything, but a lot of it is going to be changed just to fit where I'm at now as far as like getting everything like figured out. You can see I have all of these. There we go. All of these are to create a book dummy, which I didn't even know it was called that until maybe last year. I was just naturally had to do it because I had to figure out where I'm putting my parts of my story and then how many illustrations I needed to have. So as you can see, I've written, to me this is a lot. To people that are novelists, which this is not, and I am not, this is probably not a whole lot of words in, as far as word count goes, but you can see anyway, basically goes all the way up to illustration 15, and this isn't all I've written. This is just what I had printed out last year, I believe. Right now I'm in the process of writing an outline because I didn't really have one. I had a pretty general idea of what I was doing, so I just started writing it, which I don't think was bad. But as far as now in the writing process, I need to have a very skeletal outline of what is going to happen. And this is something else that I've learned, is that there are discovery writers and then writers, I don't know what the term is, where they plan out what they are going to write before they do it. I like discovery writing, but I do think that after I have my initial idea down, that I need to have a skeleton of what is going to happen, just so that I can basically have a full-on story. Because within my plot, I have several different characters. I have 7 characters. Because I'm a perfectionist, I want everything to be like even, so I want every character to come into the story at the same time as something happens in the plot. I don't know how possible that is, and that was basically what the problem was that came up while I was writing. It makes you appreciate a well thought out story so much. A great example of something that I don't think I will ever do in my life is writing like a mystery. I do not understand how people can have their brain write a mystery and have different clues come together, let alone plot twists. Like, I appreciate plot twists so much. I think they're so fun, and I cannot write that way. I do want to share parts of my story, but I also don't know how much as far as like theft, and then also as far as like keeping people interested. But if I don't share what I'm writing about, then how would people be interested? You know what I mean? This is another issue that I'm really curious to ask. Sorry, I'm totally going off on a side tangent here, but I'm really curious about when other people write stories and when they log about it. A person that I have in mind is Elizabeth Coyle, and I'll link her and show her on here because she's inspired me so much to like be consistent in my own writing. I'm curious how much of their story that they should share online, because part of it is I have a fear of it being stolen, and that sounds really like prideful, like my stuff is so good that somebody would steal it. But honestly, I don't think that it necessarily really matters how good or bad your stuff is. If it's anything you create can be stolen, especially if it's online. But the downside to not sharing it is that nobody will know that it exists either. So I don't doubt that at some point every artist will have somebody kind of steal their stuff. Oh, you just got to see the robin go in its nest. How cool is that? This robin just set up a nest here, and I can't see the eggs. I've tried. and I wouldn't touch them or anything. But anyway, that's cool to have that captured. I did really quickly want to show you how I'm doing my outline. This looks not nearly as organized to someone who's not in my head, which is everybody. This is me having to figure out how to write out the process of the building that she's doing to then turn it into parts of the plot, if that makes sense. You'll notice that it's sometimes hard for me to like come up with the words that I'm like thinking of, because I struggle with really bad brain fog, unfortunately. I don't know if this is something that would interest anybody, but there's a channel called Bruni Architecture, and their video is called Wood Framing Basics, and this has been so helpful for me so that I can write out my outline. Okay, I want to show you this character that I'm working on right now, the different designs that I have, and then what I'm thinking as far as like progressing this week and deciding on what the character will look like. Here are all of the 4 different designs that I have for Matilda. She is a seamstress. I guess I can kind of show you what about these designs that I like and what I want to incorporate from each one into the final design. So with this one's actually my least favorite one, not because of the drawing. I like the drawing, but it doesn't fit the character that's in my head. I like the old-fashioned hairstyle where it's kind of like, I think it's Victorian, where it was kind of like puffy bangs. So I do like that, but I also want her hair to have like knitting needles in it, like to hold up her hair, which I think would be super cute, and that would obviously fit like her role in society. This one is my favorite one. I love the almost otherworldly type of look, and I think what does that in this design is the far apart eyes. I also like that her face is still youthful but longer, which can be kind of hard, at least for me, to capture. So I really like that, and I'm probably gonna stick with this one as like my main base and then add things to it, unless I end up using this design for another character. The other character's name is Edith. I'm just struggling between different, I don't know, I can't decide, but I would like to nail that down this week. This was the first most like official looking character design that I had for her, but this to me is, she's too commercial. You'll kind of see this being a theme in my thought process, which is that I like cute characters, but I don't want them to be perfect looking, if that makes sense. I like when things have a little bit of an edge to them, which is why I used the word alternative before. Like, I like that somebody that's very unique looking. She's too perfect looking, I guess. This one definitely fits the more unique look. I do like the freckles on this one. I like her hair. I feel like it's maybe a little too modern for what I have in my mind. I like the glasses. I do like her smile now that I look at it. I like that her lips are smaller. Noses too are something that it's really difficult to capture noses with character on children. You'll notice that a lot of the time their noses look very similar because their features haven't fully developed yet. So a lot of children's noses will kind of look the same. And then as they get older, they start to take, you know, their unique form. This one, I like that it's not as this one's not as upturned, and I like that. People tend to really like upturned noses. At least I noticed that in American artists and stuff. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting too in depth on this. This is what I will be nailing down digitally. I wanted to bring this out because I thought it might be interesting for you guys to see what I am using loosely as like proportion reference for myself. One of the things that I was working on is a rough idea of what the perspective and composition will be of the pages of my book. This illustration is it gets me so excited because it's a very good example for myself as far as, I hate to use the word vibe, but the feeling that I'm going for. I really like like broad daylight, like mid-morning to afternoon daylight. That's what makes me the happiest. This just brings me so much joy. So obviously with daylight you end up using a lot of yellowed greens because it's warmer usually, although I really like my skies very, very light blue. It's light blue even right now and I love it. This was great for deciding on like value of things, like foreground, midground, and background during daylight, and things like that are just really helpful to have so that it gives me less mental work. This one, I like the texture that is used. I will not be working in gouache or watercolor. I don't like working in watercolor at all. I'm very much an all or nothing thinker. If I want color, I want the color to be put down. I don't want it watered down, even though I'm working with muted colors. I do really like the textures, like how you can kind of see here. There's something about the texture that makes something that's a cartoon look real. I love these so much. I've got 3 more. So beautiful. A lot of my illustrations won't be as warped as Alice in Wonderland. Mine's a little more realistic, but there are certain aspects of these. I think maybe it's the amount of shadow that they put to create like a realistic dimension, but also it's almost not enough variation in the value of those shadows that makes it, if you went a little more in depth, like with how many shadows you were using, it'd probably become more realistic. I might be wrong about that, but anyway. This one I can definitely remember why I saved it for myself, because I feel like everything looks like the right lighting that I want to use. This looks like the time of day that I want a lot of my story to be told in. I'm wondering if I even used this to decide on which colors I was going to be getting, because you can even like look at that, how similar all of these colors are in saturation and in value to this. It's like almost exact. I feel like I'm stealing, but that's kind of what you end up doing in art, is stealing the things you like and then combining all those different likes together. This one is like primo for me. And then very last one, oh my goodness, this is something that got me so excited. I'd never heard of this artist. So this art piece that I will be showing you right here is from the Disney, I don't know if I'd call it a short, Fathers Are People by Ray Hafine. Another thing that was really exciting for me was that I had never seen this short from Disney, but it's like goofy and he's got a family, and it's kind of a lot of what my husband and I have been going through as far as like starting a family. I just think that this artist did such a great job. These are all the examples of what I was doing last week to try to figure out what some of the illustrations are going to look like, or at least have some references for myself for when I do go into doing the illustrations. Like, let me come back up here. I am really excited to get this up because this is something that I've been working on for years, and I think we've got my Amazon delivery coming, so I guess that's my sign for me to go. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Just let me know if this interests you at all. Anyway, I will talk to you guys next week, hopefully. Okay, bye.